Hey, ESPN, I'm Jack. I'm the co-founder of Crack.com.
And I'm Miles, a former lobbyist that loves soccer and gets very nervous when I'm pulled over by the police.
And we're the hosts of The Daily Zeitgeist, a daily comedic news podcast that covers politics, pop culture, and we're both big sports fans. I'm actually named after my grandfather, legendary NBA coach Dr. Jack Ramsey.
Oh, well, I'm named after Miles Davis, a legendary heroin addict who is not my grandfather.
It's not a competition. So search The Daily Zeitgeist on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever fine podcasts are given away for free.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the deck. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Give me your boom.
We are Jalen Jacoby on ESPN Radio. He is Jalen Rose.
What up, dog?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cold checking.
What do we do, Mr. Rose?
We give individuals that's been supporting this program for 5 years what they want.
Great idea. The people probably want us to discuss the Celtics' big win over the Cavs, but there is something much more important around that game that is happening. Something that's been happening for over 2 years now. It's LeBron James' campaign to convince us all that he is obsessed with the Godfather trilogy. I don't know why he does this, but it started 2 years ago. July 28th of 2015, he tweeted that it was his favorite film. So that's 2 years ago. And then we remember last year during the finals, he claimed to watch The Godfather 6 times during the postseason. Do you believe that he really watched The Godfather 6 times during the postseason, Mr. Rose?
Here's what happens when you do a lot of traveling. You get into a bunker mentality. It's the playoffs. You say you're going to get off social media. You try to find ways to entertain yourself. Mentally and psychologically.
But 6 times?
And maybe he pressed play on The Godfather 6 times, but somebody like me that's showing my age that know that it's 3 different episodes,
3 hours
take
apiece,
you a day
54
to watch
hours.
That lets me to believe that he probably turned it on and fell asleep.
Probably, but then he was asked about it. And let's listen to his response.
There's too many different phrases and too many different lines in that movie to just categorize one. I mean, each movie is 9 hours long. I mean, what do you want me to do? I mean, there's so many. I don't know. I'll let you pick one, and I'll roll with it. It's a great trilogy.
So, like Ice Cube said, rule number 2, don't get caught up. And so, let me get this right. Let me spin this back to you, David Jacoby.
Please do.
You've seen Star Wars before, right?
Of course.
How many times?
The original trilogy, I've probably seen each one 4 or 5 times.
So, like LeBron James, if I ask you to recite any line, especially one of your favorites from that movie, can you?
I've got a bad feeling about this.
Okay. Can you give me one from Friday?
Yeah.
Okay.
You ain't got no job.
Okay. Can you give me one from Above the Rim?
Oh, no. You know what? How about you pick one and I'll just roll with that? When someone asks you what your favorite thing is, you're never just like, you know what? You pick one and I'll go with that. What's your favorite sandwich? Oh, you know what? You pick one. I'll just go with that.
And then he said it's 9 hours. Well, if that's the case, then you should know a lot of
all of them. And if you can't come up with something, all you have to say is, gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. That's all you have to say. Because everybody knows that one. But it continues.
But seriously, you can't sit in front of an audience and talk about the Godfathers and somebody asks you about something and you don't mention the horse head in the bed. Like that has to come up.
It's ridiculous. But he didn't stop there. Then on July 4th, Independence Day, where we celebrate our country, 2016, last July 4th, he posted a post on Instagram, said, "Happy 4th of July from the James Gang and the Corleone family."
What? Phil Jackson was watching. He saw that tweet.
And then he said, "My daily ritual." Hold on a second.
Why you always lying?
First you claim you watched it 6 times during the postseason, and now you claim you watch it how often, Jalen?
Daily.
Every day. So every single day you watch The Godfather? I didn't believe you when you said you watched it 6 times in the postseason, but every single day?
What's your favorite line from Scarface?
The pelicans. Watch the pelicans fly.
The point is, when somebody is really into a movie and they're owning it like he claims to own The Godfather, there is no issue naming notable phrases, notable scenes from said movie.
Here's the thing. No matter how much you love The Godfather, you're not watching it every day. This is not your daily ritual, LeBron James. Why are you lying to us? And then it continued. March 1st, game against the Celtics. You were doing this game for Countdown. On Countdown, you always watch them walk through the tunnels. What was he doing, Jalen Rose?
He was reading the Godfather book.
Reading the Godfather book.
Did you hear what I said on the set?
I don't listen to you.
You never do.
Even during the show?
I actually was like, wait a minute. I know what he's doing now. He's actually being a leader. He's breaking a stereotype. Yes, I probably didn't see the movie as many times as I said, but that old adage that if you want to hide something from a brother, put it in the book, he's shattering that.
He was on like page 15 though. Like he was you could tell from the book that he just started on the bus ride over there.
And here's the thing.
Don't walk and read either. Bump into somebody.
That's exactly what
you
I was about to say. You can't be walking and read a book.
Come on now.
You can walk and listen to your headphones.
Yeah.
You make it walk and look at your cell phone and text or your Instagram or your tweets, but you can't walk and comprehend while reading a book.
You're not, especially a book that's complicated like that. I just don't. My question for you is why is LeBron James obsessed with trying to convince us that he's obsessed with The Godfather?
You ready? He feel like he bossing up right now.
He really does.
He waited until when? They got Kyle Korver. Mm-hmm. They got Darren Williams. Mm-hmm. They got Andrew Bogut. Mm-hmm. Then he back on his Godfather. He like, I'm a Corleone now. I got it done.
He is.
I got it done.
Do you think he sees Dan Gilbert and David Griffin sort of as the actual mafia dons, and he's more sort of like a soldier, like a Luca Brasi?
No, he sees himself as Vito.
Exactly. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Like I'm next.
We all, yeah.
I'm next.
Consigliere, sure. Like
you know what I'm saying?
Be one of those.
And then I'm gonna go on and do Dog Day Afternoon, and then I'm gonna get Scarface. Like he feels like he's next.
Do you know what would really put a nice spin on this? Is Godfather is so popular. I wish it was just like Finding Nemo that he was obsessed with. That he was just like, I watch Finding Nemo every day, every morning. I love Nemo. Ellen does a great job.
But there's so many others, but The Godfather is the classic, though. The picture of The Godfather holding the cat is so classic to me. Oh, as a matter of fact, oh,
there it is.
I don't have to wait for LeBron. Wait.
Yep. Do you watch The Godfather every day, too?
No.
Oh, okay.
Only thing I watch every day is Sports Center. I watch First Take every day, too.
Oh, I watch it twice every day. I watch it once, and then I watch the re-air. You want to talk about the game now?
Let's get it.
Celtics beat the Cavaliers. Big deal or no deal?
No deal.
No deal?
No.
I know you watched the game, but for those that didn't, LeBron James had the ball, waning seconds, down by 2, kicks it to a wide open Darren Williams in the corner. Brand new, fresh out the box, lick bottom Darren Williams has the shot to win the game. It just felt like there was more than this game riding on that shot. It just felt like this was going to go one of two ways. Which way did it go, Mr. Rose?
It goes when J.R. Smith gets back, he going to be in the corner getting that shot. Because Darren Williams, while you were a starter with the Mavs, we brought you here to be a backup, not a closer. But we're going to try this tonight.
Beginning of the second quarter.
Yes, indeed. We're going to try this tonight. And here's something that stood out to me for the Cavs. They have 2 of everything. They're loaded.
Mm-hmm. It's like Noah's Ark.
And this is why LeBron James is now on his Godfather. He wasn't holding a book. He was holding a cat. He just couldn't walk into the game with it.
That's what he needs to do next. Next, it needs to be, you know what? I'm not going to pretend to read. He should just be holding a cat when he gets off the Bucks. Like just stroking it gently and listening to it purr.
Yep.
Take our advice, LeBron. First of all, LeBron, straight up. I know you watched The Godfather. I'm not saying you've never seen The Godfather, but I'm saying you've seen it like 4 times. You've seen it 4 times.
Yes. Well, you're young
Godfather
to the game.
3, you watched once.
No.
No one's rewatched Godfather 3. In the history of film, no one has seen Godfather 3 twice.
Here's the thing. You're not true to it. He just new to it, which is fine. He's taking it up right now. It's like certain things, like I try to turn you on to Power. This year, you got to start watching it. And that's how I feel about him and The Godfather. He finally got turned on to it. He watched so much Scarface, and people were like, man, that ain't Al Pacino's best role. You need to start paying attention to The Godfather. That's how he got the role. And they're like, wait a minute, seriously? Then he watched the first one. He's like, nah, y'all fronting.
I want to give him a Godfather quiz. Like, I want to just have a 20 question quiz and just like some easy questions, some layups, and then some hard questions, and just see how well he does. 0 to 100, how well does he do on that quiz?
15.
One quick question. Did KD really need the wheelchair, or was he trolling Paul Pierce?
I like the fact that he was present with his game shorts on, but he was trolling Paul Pierce.
Yep. That's a great point. Game we play on this show, Mr. Rose.
What up,
this
dog?
is not a black and white world. This is not a yes or no world. There's a lot of gray
crazy
area
mixed up
in this world.
It's a
So we play this
dog
game called 0 to 100. You ready?
world.
0 to 100. How much does Colin Kaepernick's impending free agency have to do with his announcement that he will be standing during the national anthem?
10%.
10%?
There are a lot of people that's going to
Jalen?
take a hypocritical approach when they break down him now deciding to stand for the flag. And here's what I'll ask everybody else. He was the first one to do it. He didn't jump on the bandwagon. So from that, he can decide if this is something I want to do for a game, if I want to do it for a month, if I want to do it for a season. As somebody that's politically and socially conscious, when I saw him take that stand, I didn't think that meant that every time for the rest of his life he wasn't going to stand for the United States flag.
I didn't think so either. And I thought that he did, and as he mentioned, he did accomplish a lot with that. He did create a national conversation that lasted months. He did give $1 million that was matched by the 49ers, so that's $2 million.
Message.
He has done a lot for this, and there are diminishing returns to it. We talked about it. We talked about it almost every day for week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And then over time, there's diminishing returns to him doing it. But it does also feel a little bit like he's cleaning up for the job interview. Like if you have a mohawk and you're going on a job interview, you shave the mohawk. You put the suit on.
This is what I want to tell everybody. If he wanted to clean up for the job interview, this is what he would have did. He would have got paid again and then took that stance. Yep. He was at a position where he wasn't the starter. He was battling for the job, and he was coming back from injuries. Oh, and by the way, the 49ers have stunk the last few years.
Mm-hmm. Yep. With him and without him.
So he was not approaching this from a position of strength. He didn't just jump on the bandwagon. I give him credit while, again, I was one of the first people to acknowledge his message was cloudy to me at first. Mm-hmm. I saw the Castro shirt. I was a little confused. It was head-scratching. I saw him at practice with the pig socks as police. I was a little confused, but I'm older than him. We talked about this program. Was he being misled by his better half for this stance?
It got a little clearer. It was started cloudy and cleared up a little bit.
But like any movement, you're allowed to find your niche. Mm-hmm. And once he decided and he got the support that he needed to help give it a vision, I appreciated that he continued to navigate. And here's the thing I want to challenge people to. He's going to get a lot of grief for not voting. I vote. I haven't always voted in every election. I can't front that I've voted 10 times. I've probably voted 4 times ever. There are a lot of people that's going to criticize him for voting this year who didn't vote themselves, number one.
Yep.
Number 2, me not voting. Oh, and by the way, I'm all for democracy. I'm all for the people who gave so much blood, sweat, and tears to put all of us, in particular people that look like me, in a position to vote. But you know what that is? My option. It's not mandatory. So I'm able to separate whether he decides to vote in an election where we've seen 4 times the person that won the most votes was not elected president, including this past presidential election.
Where are we going here? Yep.
That relies on an electoral college. And if you put all of their pictures up, I would deem that 95% of them have a lot in common. And so I'm able to separate whether he votes or not versus how he feels about the United States flag and what he feels the history of it stands for. They're 2 different messages. And lastly, here's what I want to say. For his critics, ain't too many people lifting a finger for charity. Not too many people doing things that are philanthropic endeavors. So when somebody's talking about what he's done in the community or has not done, ask yourself, when did they give back and not gotten paid? Just because I'm doing a paid appearance in the hood, that don't mean I'm giving back. Giving back is when you're not getting paid. And so I'm able to draw the line in the sand, support his stance because it was something that took the season by storm, and he's going to be remembered more by that than he ever will playing football.
0 to 100. How much will being a dad soften up Russell Westbrook?
23%.
23? That's bigger than I would think. Russell Westbrook put an Instagram post that shows that he is going to be a father. As a father, I know it just makes you soft. It just makes you just feel more when you have a child. With another human being in the world that like you created, you just feel more. And you're telling me that he will be 23% softer?
I wish I could say his number's 0.
That's what I wanted to hear.
But I had to go with MJ's number because he shined to Jumpman. And it made me realize, yes, it's going to soften him up some.
Thank you. That's not what I expected you to say.
And it should. Congratulations to Russell and his better half, his wife.
0 to 100. How intentional was it when Richard Jefferson just ended up after a dunk putting his nether regions on the head of Terry Rozier?
Well, if you watch and listen to this program, David Jacoby already gave you the science when the Cavs are rolling. It's when Richard Jefferson does what?
When he puts on his sneakers, he's going to get one dunk and 1 3 every time.
And so when he's hanging from the rim, he 95% did that on purpose.
95%?
At this point of his career, oh, no doubt, who's underneath me?
0 to 100. How upset was Marcin Gortat when John Wall threw the pass that hit him in the head?
Oh, man, those Spalding balls hurt.
He's close. That's close range.
And that's my point guard, too. Oh, he was 80%.
Yeah, I'd be a little upset. Like, especially when you get hit in the face area, you get illogically upset for about 5 seconds. And I've been in some pickup games where I was just like real upset, and then 4 seconds later, I was like, I'm sorry, man. I just got hit in the face.
And this is your all-NBA point guard who's a terrific passer, and every now and then you lose touch and distance on who you're throwing the ball to. So in John Wall's head, he was throwing it to left to Bradley Beal for a three.
He was throwing it to Morris wide open for a dunk, but he just forgot that gigantic Polish man was in front of him.
Yes.
Hard to lose Marcin Gortat on a basketball court. Jalen, I didn't want to talk about this on Wax, but I have to. And it is today's Don't Get Fired topic.
And now, the Don't Get Fired topic of the day.
Glad I'm wearing a collared shirt today.
Don't get fired, Jalen. I have to report this as fact. Joe Biden's son, Hunter, is now romantically involved with Hallie, the widow of Hunter's brother, Bo. What? Who died May 2015 from brain cancer. So Joe has 2 sons, Hunter and Bo. Bo passed away May 2015 and is now dating her former brother-in-law, Hunter. Joe Biden has blessed this relationship.
What?
Don't get fired. How do you feel about dating your former sister-in-law who is widowed?
I have 2 brothers. Not going to be able to do it. For Joe Biden, however, his circumstance clearly is unique. Rest in peace to Bo. Condolences to the family and to the widow. I don't want to be insensitive in any way, shape, or form.
Don't get fired.
But since they're public figures, we get a chance to talk about this topic and bring some levity to it. And the only thing that comes to mind for me is the great American philosophers, Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh, the Wu-Tang Clan, of course. Shaolin's finest.
There was a Ghostface burst where he basically acknowledged my seeds, marry his seeds, go as his seeds. That's how we keep Wu-Tang money all up in the family. So I'll just say that that's what they're doing. They're keeping the love within the family.
I know Joe Biden loves Wu-Tang. Ty Lawson is new to Sacramento. It's Tuesday, and he said on Instagram he was looking for bomb Taco Tuesday suggestions.
Hit the brakes before you go there. So let me bring everybody behind the curtains of something.
Oh, okay.
Okay. When a woman posts a picture of herself, she feels like she's looking extra good.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Like she's taking 15 of those pictures before the one that actually gets posted.
And if it's a head to toe, she's basically saying, I love my outfit today, and I want everyone to see it.
When a guy, especially an athlete or an entertainer, tweets to the public to ask a question, he's basically hoping that he can get lucky.
He wants, oh, I work at this taco place, and it's great, and I happen to be there right now. And he clicks on the avatar, and it's one of those head-to-toe pictures. That's what he's looking for. He doesn't really need a Bomb Taco Tuesday suggestion. Something tells me not too hard to find tacos in Sacramento. Also, if only there was some sort of way you could find restaurants around you. No.
It's like,
they don't
hey,
have that.
I'm in town.
Yeah,
what's
up?
going on tonight?
Well, he got some tacos, and he took a picture of those and posted, "Damn, Boo, you look so damn good on that." Now, I'm quoting him there. And then he got the stomach flu.
And missed the game.
Ty.
Is this short for Tyrone? Because that's what I be calling him in my Erykah Badu voice right now.
Ty. The Financial Times is reporting that Barack and Michelle Obama's memoirs will sell for no less than $60 million.
Good Lord, that's a lot of money.
Is that how much you got paid for your book?
Not at all. I need a refund.
$60 million. How could that book possibly, how could they possibly make their money back? $60 million for Barack and Michelle? And guess what? They're not going to write the book. They're going to have like 3-4 hour interviews with a writer who writes the entire thing, and they get paid $60 million for that. This is one of those things where, like, I understand why you pay this much money. Just like Chappelle's 3 specials from Netflix. They're releasing 2 of those later this month. They paid something like $45 million for them.
Good Lord, that's a lot of money.
I understand the big name, but I don't understand the business of this.
Sports taught me the business of this. When somebody with a checkbook is paying you a salary, that means they're making a whole lot more off of you.
I suppose so. I suppose if the market is $60 million for the Barack Obama memoir, then they're going to make 61 at least. I suppose they've probably run these numbers more than I have. But sitting in this chair with what I know about the publishing business, which is nothing, that seems like a very difficult number to recoup. Is ordering pizza from the Pizza Hut sneakers that they've released that have the ability to order pizza? I'm going to ask you the same question I asked about Leonardo DiCaprio flying someone across the world to do his eyebrows.
What?
Is ordering pizza from your sneakers a boss move or a soft move?
A soft move.
That's a soft move.
Here's why. I don't associate eating with my feet or shoes.
Oh, I like what you did
So
here.
I don't even want those two things
I like that.
in the same conversation.
I like that. And the shoes are trash. Like, they're trash. You could have made them look better. They try to make them look like basketball shoes. Here's what I'm not going to do. Play basketball in some shoes and then order pizza from them.
And here's what's not going to be cool. Hey, Mom, can you buy me some shoes that Domino's makes? And how much do they cost?
It's Pizza Hut, but they're not a sponsor, so it might as well be Domino's. Another thing is here's my number one question. Is we all watch Grant Hill order from the tongue of his sneaker in the commercial. How do they know what kind of toppings he wants? I understand where they know where he is, but how do they know what kind of topping? If it's just a regular cheese pizza, then I'm not interested.
Keep getting them checks, G. Hill.
It should be like pepperoni for the left foot. Maybe you can do presets and then like a sausage and onion with the right foot. And if you push them both at the same time, you get half and half. I'm giving away too many good ideas. ABC is bringing back Battle of the Network Stars.
I've been saying this for years. Do I get
A no-brainer.
some royalties?
This is a no-brainer.
I need to send a couple of
This is a
texts.
no-brainer. The Podfather's been saying this for years too. Here's my question. Are you sending texts right now about Battle of the Network Stars?
Yes, because I think the individuals that pulled the trigger on this took my idea and cut me out.
Jalen, this is not your idea. This is not your idea. This is a hit show from the 70s. You were like 4 when this came out.
How about this? So was Family Feud, but there had to be somebody that says, I think we should redo it.
Family Feud never went away, Jalen.
It did go away. So to tell the truth.
Hold up. Family Feud never went away, Jalen.
What about Price is Right?
Never went away. Are you going to be on Battle of the Network Stars?
Absolutely. I'm going to text the individual that's running with the idea I gave him.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to David Jacoby and the creator of Battle of the Network Stars when he was 6 years old.
Family
Jalen
Feud
Rose.
went away for 4 years, sir.
You didn't know that, though. They just said in your ear.
You lying. Why you always lying?
Jalen, what do we do on this show?
give the individuals that follow this fine program exactly what they want.
So one of our producers, because this is the 50th anniversary of Wilt scoring 100, one of our producers was looking up what your highest score total was. And it led to some really interesting information. If you go to Google and you put in, is Jalen Rose, here are the top things, the questions that people ask about you. You're going to answer them right now. So these are literally what the people want to know. Is Jalen Rose, and here's how it auto-fills out. Is Jalen Rose, you answer this question, is Jalen Rose married?
No.
That took too long. Is Jalen Rose in the Hall of Fame?
No.
But shout out to the people that want to know that, though. Isn't that nice you're considered? Like, that's number 2.
I have a wifey, but I'm not married. I'm not in the Hall of Fame, but if we were allowed to play another 5 or 6 years and I could get somebody else to play for me, then probably I'll be ready.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know where this is coming. But we're going to get you in the Michigan Sports Hall of Fame.
I'm in the Detroit Hall of Fame.
Is Jalen Rose and Derrick Rose related?
We're not related, not kin of blood related, but you could call us cousins.
Okay. This is my favorite one. This is my favorite one. I don't understand it at all. Auto fills out number 4 on Google. Is Jalen Rose sick?
Sick.
What? That's what it said.
One of the fine
Who types that into Google?
and more fortunate things that I can say is I'm one of the people that seems to be able to avoid getting sick.
Okay.
And I hope that I didn't just jinx myself.
Now, here's where it got really interesting. In the people also searched for. So these are other questions related to Jalen Rose in Google.
For so long, they used to say that I had a wife named Alexandria.
Shout out to her, whoever that is. These are other questions about Jalen Rose that people ask. Ready, Jalen?
Let's get it.
Who did Jalen Rose play for?
Played high school for Detroit Southwestern, college at the University of Michigan, and mostly in the pros for the Indiana Pacers.
Okay. The next one is, don't answer this one. How much does Jalen Rose make a year? Don't answer that.
Put your hand on my pocket.
This one is really why I brought this whole thing up. The third question that people ask is mind-blowing.
You sound like the 7th.
Just 2 different sections. Is Jalen Rose Filipino? What?
Might be.
You might be. And
I might be.
I never considered that, but then once someone asked the question, right next to it is a picture of you, I was like, you do kind of look Filipino.
I always joke that I'm black mixed with Negro, but I could be Filipino.
You could be.
And Walis. I always talk about it during the playoffs time.
Yeah.
Teams are getting sweat. Big shout to Al.
Big shout to all of our
We used to
Filipino and
work on the
Filipino-American
staff.
listeners.
He just got a new gig. I'm happy for him.
You got a new
his
gig?
family.
Is he
Yes.
leaving ESPN?
Yes.
Wait, what?
Second Spectrum.
He's leaving ESPN. Oh, see, now you see everyone who watches Countdown is going to know the facts. They're texting me wrong now. Al was the backbone of that show. Big shout
See,
out to Al.
B-Lo came up here. B-Lo like, every day I'm hustling.
Okay. This is convoluted, right?
This is funny, too. This is a good one.
Oh, the last one? Did
No,
you see
just
it?
this segment, period.
Oh, no, I was going to move on, but there is one more question that people asked for after Filipino. I was going to end after Filipino, but this is the last one, which I think is interesting. Who is replacing Skip on First Take? What? Like, what?
My man, Max.
Yeah, what time is this from?
Come on,
Look,
now.
the people that are searching, is Jalen Rose sick, are also searching who's going to replace Skip on First Take.
Right.
Also, if you don't know, like, Google's not going to tell you. Like, they're going to be an announcement. It's going to be formal.
They're doing a great job. Max is
They are
killing
doing a
it
great
with
job.
Stephen
I
A.
love those cartoons
and
at
the
the end of
best
the segments
host and
that they do.
moderator in the
When they
history
do
of
those cartoons
television.
at the end of segments, I love that. It's hot. Yep. You ready?
Yeah, me too. I get it. Yeah, me too.
Here's an interesting wrinkle about the KD injury that has just been brought to my attention. And I don't fully understand it. I'm not going to act like I do. Essentially, if Paul George is all NBA, he falls under a different category in the new CBA where he can get paid more money from an extension from the Pacers because there's certain exceptions. And sort of like being all NBA, this happened with
Derrick Rose.
And it also happened with Anthony
Boogie
Davis
Cousins.
last year. Yeah. Like, so if KD is sort of like deemed not eligible by people to be All-NBA because he's missed this time. Paul George and Gordon Hayward and other people could slide into that spot. If Paul George gets in that spot, he could stand to earn another $20, $30, $40 million.
That's a big difference.
What, between 20, 30, and 40? I just don't have the fact, obviously. I'm just throwing it out there. Yeah. Come on. Do you think I do the research for this?
I was getting excited. I was like,
20, 30, 40, 50?
26.
Maybe even more.
Right.
But still, as someone who votes for these things, does that sort of convolute it a little bit?
No, KD will be All-NBA. Because you got to go by the body of work that he put in while he was healthy, just like Joel Embiid is going to win the Rookie of the Year.
You think Joel Embiid's going to win the Rookie of the Year?
He is, hands down.
It's hard for me, someone that played less than half the games, a lot less than half the games, more like a third of the games, and then had a minutes restriction in those games.
Media votes. They love Embiid. His personality, his social media presence, him dancing on stage with musicians, him getting 20 and 10 in a couple of blocks during those 31 games that he performed in a uniform. Because of that and his infectious smile, and his ability to galvanize the building to where they're now calling him the process, he will win Rookie of the Year. And KD, the Warriors' leading scorer, the best record in the league, will also be amongst that group of all NBA performers.
This is interesting. A little bit of a don't get fired topic. Your favorite football team is what? I'll translate from Jalen Rose to English. That is the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions have expressed disappointment that Joe Mixon is not at the Combine because he's on their draft board. Would you be upset if the Lions drafted Joe Mixon?
No.
It's a complicated question.
No, and I've seen the video. I don't condone domestic violence in any way, shape, or form.
It'd be weird if you did.
I, however, understand the hypocrisy that takes place in sports. And we saw it played out with Greg Hardy versus Ray Rice.
Who just signed for some independent football league.
One individual got another chance because it wasn't on video, while the other ones was. We're a visual society. If you ask people who aren't over 45 to listen to the basketball, baseball, or football game on the radio versus watching it on television, we're a visual medium. So because of that, people now take things more to heed when they're actually physically able to see something. And so because we saw his video, I understand the outrage of not wanting him to have the fortunate opportunity to play in the NFL. The only reason why he's going to play, just like the young man for the Kansas City Chiefs that we talked about this year, that took their team by storm, was catching out of the backfield, was returning to special teams, was on
also
the front
the avatar of the
cover
NFL Twitter handle
on NFL.com. It's because of their ability. And if you are special at your trade, you will get more opportunities. And here's what I also have to say. We have to stop giving up on young people so fast. You are allowed to actually make decisions in your youth, but should have the opportunity to redeem yourself. It shouldn't mean the end of your life. This is not about Joe Mixon as much as it's about the NFL. Because guess who can decide if he's at the Combine? The league. Mm-hmm. Guess who can decide if he's on teams' drafts boards? The league. So if you're going to allow him to be on the draft board, you might as well allow him to come to the Combine. That's a hypocritical stance by the Shield.
I don't ride hard for any one football team, but I'm a die-easy Patriots fan. I would have conflicted feelings towards my team if they drafted Joe Mixon.
Do you have conflicted feelings about your team that they had Spygate and Deflategate?
No.
Okay.
I have conflicted feelings about Lance Stevenson. You know, it's complicated.
If he was performing the way Tyreek Hill was performing, people would be taking him on their fantasy teams, Jacoby.
They would. Jalen Rose, doing this show as we have for 5 years, there's just a lot of topics for us to select from to discuss. So we have a new thing called Keep It Moving, where I bring up a topic in the news today. You tell me to keep moving. If we're not going to discuss it, you tell me to hit the brakes if we are.
So here's my line in the sand. I'll say keep it moving. If the information isn't going to change the outcome, and I feel like it's a forced news story.
Okay. Cubs pitcher John Lester is going to start opening day versus the Cardinals.
Keep it moving.
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
Kristaps Porzingis said he likes the
Keep it
triangle.
moving.
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
Tony Romo.
Keep it moving.
Just
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
Harden and the Rockets beat the Clippers and shot over 50 threes.
Pump the brakes. If Kevin Durant doesn't return at full strength, the Houston Rockets are the team that has the best chance of eliminating the Golden State Warriors.
Now, let's talk about that qualifier you put on it. Because no one returns at full strength. You know, it's a guarantee that he will not return at full strength. But you mean if he doesn't work himself back into full strength in time?
No, people return full strength and still average what they averaged before they got hurt. And the Warriors are going to need all of those buckets. If he's not able to produce the way he was before his injury, the Rockets now have a level of firepower that could shoot them out of the playoffs.
With Kevin Durant pretty close to full strength.
Warriors.
If Kevin Durant doesn't come back until the playoffs, and they are now the 2 seed, and they face the Rockets in the second round, and Kevin Durant is just coming back.
Well, they're going to be the 1 seed. He's out a month. They're going to beat the Nuggets in 5 in the first round, and he should be healthy and ready to go. But we talked about it on this program. What you think about Jokic and Plumlee?
I love Jokic and Plumlee.
What's their nickname?
The Birch Brothers. I'm going to make the Birch Brothers stick. It works. You know what yours should suck? Furious Styles. It's too hard to say.
It fits, though. Like, a nickname has to fit.
Yes.
I don't care if it sticks. It fits. He's
Okay.
about his fashion, and he plays with ferocity on the court.
I love it. Dan Quinn said he still isn't over the Super Bowl.
Keep it
and made-
moving.
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
Snapchat IPO'd today.
Keep it moving.
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
I wanted to talk about that one.
Go back. You can talk about it.
Nah.
Did I join?
Nah.
Okay.
Seahawks safety Earl Thomas
You
expects...
remember everybody was periscoping and Snapchatting like that was going to be the new thing?
It's still the thing.
Okay.
Seahawks safety Earl
Until
Thomas...
IG came out with theirs.
Old man Jalen. Seahawks safety Earl Thomas is expected to be ready for 2017.
I'm happy he's returning healthy, but is that information going to be different next week?
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
Le'Veon Bell has advice for Nicki Minaj about diss tracks.
Hit the brakes.
Ooh, I didn't think I'd get you with that one. Le'Veon Bell famously dropped like an entire mixtape about Skip Bayless, which led to me disparaging Dame Lillard on wax in an attempt to goad him into writing a diss track about me. Still hasn't happened. I'm not that relevant. But Le'Veon Bell has advice for Nicki Minaj, who now is in a position where she feels she needs to respond to Remy Ma's 6-minute sheather. Your thoughts?
I follow his advice, and I echoed this advice when the Drake and Meek Mill beef on wax took place. Sometimes when they come so strong and so correct, you got to let it rock. And I felt like Meek shouldn't have responded.
To back.
I feel like Nicki shouldn't respond.
One thing about the Meek thing that people have forgot is back-to-back is the thing that everybody brings up. It's called back-to-back. Why? Because he already released a whack diss track about him where he sang, "I'm fired up." And it was like a sing-songy, soft.
I'm charged up.
Yeah, diss track like, "I'm charged up." It was just like, it sounded like something that would be in an Amex commercial, not in like a hip-hop beef. So he felt forced to respond to his own response with back-to-back, which was the death blow. Not to Meek's career, but to that battle.
Because Meek has bars.
What does Meek have?
Bars.
Where do I like to go on the weekend? I don't get to go to bars. I'm asleep by 9.
To the park and jog.
Let's move on. The NBA announced that they have a plan to strengthen officiating.
Keep it moving.
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
The agent for Redskins quarterback Kirk Cousins.
Keep it moving.
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
He's still going to be their starting quarterback next year, right?
Tony Romo
Keep it
has.
moving.
We be moving.
Can I finish the Tony Romo sentence next time?
No.
Derrick Rose had some disparaging remarks about the triangle offense.
Hit the break. So let me get this right. In the offseason, Phil signs Joakim Noah to a $70 million deal
That happened.
that everybody except him knew it was a bad deal. And
There's some people
unfortunately,
in the Noah family that I'm sure thought it was a good deal.
and unfortunately, he's out for the year. And he won't be the type of player that we saw a few years ago in Chicago when
Who
he
could
was
have
defensive
seen
player
that
of the
coming?
year.
Who could have seen that coming?
Courtney Lee, good signing.
Yes.
Solid pro.
Shoots threes, can drive to the basket, not that old.
Other two people that he signed, Brandon Jennings.
Where's he now?
All of a sudden, he's
he's
playing on
Wizards,
another
different
East Coast team
Oh, okay.
that's in the playoffs in Washington.
Did you trade for him and get some assets back? Is that how that worked?
And
At the
now
deadline?
Derrick Rose. Like I said in the offseason, the Bulls and the Knicks did the exact same thing in the offseason, looking in the mirror to purchase the conscience. These two teams struggled to consistently get in the playoffs by building a team. So to go with their all-star performer, Jimmy Butler and Melo, they took a chance on point guards, Rondo and Rose,
How'd that work out?
and they created homecomings for Noah and Wade. Both of those teams did the exact same thing. And it didn't work for either one.
It didn't really work at
So
all.
Derrick Rose is saying what I've said since you can now zone up in the league. The triangle is just outdated. It's the equivalent of your friend coming to your house saying, I have all of these cassette tapes. Let's listen to some music tonight. And you're looking at them like, hey, this Run DMC King of Rock.
I would love
this
to hear
is
that
classic.
right now. I would love to.
This Houdini is awesome, but where are we going to play it?
We don't have anything that can make sound come out of it using this. You ready for another one?
Absolutely.
Chandler Parsons is dating.
Keep it moving.
We be moving, you know, we keep it
I want to hear
moving.
about him playing basketball.
Tony Romo joined.
Keep it moving for sure.
We be moving, you know, we keep it moving.
If anybody doesn't know that Tony Romo is not going to be with Dallas next year, they shouldn't be following sports talk TV and radio. It's obvious. Let's just wait to see what happens.
Kawhi Leonard hit a game winner.
Hit the brakes. So this came up last night when I was with T-Born the Mac and Mr. Big Shot, Chauncey
You don't
Billups.
have to drop names. You're also with Michelle Beadle, I'm sure. Didn't
What
drop
up,
her
though,
name.
Beats?
I got you, Beats.
When we were watching that game, it was just after the Celtics beat the Cavs.
Yeah, which was a great game.
And what came up late was the dynamics of your best player. And LeBron James convolutes that argument more than any player in the league because he's going to always make the right play. He and the Big O are probably the only two people in all-time top 10 or 20 in points and assists. Here's a guy that's led the league in scoring. But when a guy flies at him late and he pumps fakes, he did want to shoot that three. Mm-hmm. He was going to he was going to pull that thing up.
That was the plan.
So it wasn't like he didn't want it. But if he would have drove the ball, now you create a help situation, lob over the top to Tristan, you still get that same shot to Darren Williams. So the question that came up is, and this always comes up when you don't have a Michael Jordan, who just happened to be the best player on offense and defense, who spoiled all of us. If he's the best player in the world, why the last 2 or 3 minutes are they running all of the plays for another individual named Kyrie Irving, not the person we think is the best player in the world?
Great question, Mr. Rose. I have one question for you in response. Do you remember the topic that you hit the brakes on that led to that discussion?
I do.
Is that a lie?
It was after Derrick Rose
Jalen, we always give the people what they want. So we open up our phone lines for the people. 985-80-JALEN. You call that number. You leave us a voicemail. We play the voicemail on the show and respond to it just like this one.
Jalen Jacoby. This is Joey from Canton, Ohio. I've left you many voicemails. Maybe this is the one that'll break through. But maybe not, because I'm going to mention another media outlet, The Ringer. They recently posted an article of the top 50 fast food items of all time. They rated Chick-fil-A waffle fries as the number one item, which is wrong. My question to you is, could you give us your maybe top 3 best fast food items of all time? Thanks so much.
Great question, Joey. Thank you so much for calling. We have a staff of human beings that work on the show. They're the ones that select the voicemails. If you don't get your voicemail on the show, just keep calling. Get to it. Big shout to The Ringer. I saw that The Ringer did this. I saw that waffle fries won, and then I completely dismissed the project.
Yeah. What up, though, Podfather?
Love the Podfather, of course. Love everybody at The Ringer. I'm not going to start naming because that would take the entire segment. But Jalen Rose, how do you feel about waffle fries from Chick-fil-A being named the number one fast food item in the country?
It's incorrect.
If you were to list fast food items
that wouldn't make the top 50.
That's why I don't even think it would be on there. It wouldn't even come to mind. Granted, I'm not a big Chick-fil-A guy.
I eat Chick-fil-A and don't eat the Chick-fil-A waffle fries. How about that?
So to answer Joey's question, Joey, thank you so much for calling. Home of the Football Hall of Fame, Canton, Ohio. Been there. What's your favorite fast food? Just number one item. Just one single item that you would say is your favorite.
My favorite fast food, I sneak and get McDonald's breakfast.
Of course.
Sausage McMuffin with egg or
That's
hot
great.
cake and sausage. I get Chick-fil-A.
This dude just cannot answer a question.
I've cut down on my fast food intake.
I know you have. I would say my one favorite item would be a soft taco from Taco Bell with fire sauce. That's my answer. Thanks so much for the call, Joey. Let's listen to the next caller.
Is Morton's fast food?
No.
Hey, you guys. It's Mark. They call me Biz. Some call me Monster. Some call me Marquise. Hey, I'm in California. Jalen, I just got to tell you this, bro. The barber that's doing your hair lining, he needs to stop it. He's killing you bad, bro.
What?
Like one side is really jacked up, and he's pushing it too far back.
What?
I'm a barber. Come to me. I'm in L.A., or I'll come to you. Peace, bro. Get a new barber.
Thanks you for the love.
This is my favorite caller. This is my favorite caller of all time because I know he listens to the show.
This is one of those things where...
Shout to Biz.
Where there's certain areas that you know you're winning.
Shout to Monster.
And so when people take shots at you, if you allow it to get to you, something's wrong with you.
Shout to Marquise.
Like there's certain wins that we all know that we have. That's one that I got.
It's like your hairline is not jacked up. No. It's just not. That's a fraudulent claim. But I thought that he was, first of all, I thought that he knew that he would get in the show if he mentioned your hairline, which is true, okay? Because anyone
he is a barber, probably trying to get some business.
That's what it was. When he said that your hairline was jacked up, I thought he was just trying to get into your skin. Then he said he was a barber. I was like, oh, this makes perfect sense now. It's like the kinds associate. It all comes together. He's trying to get the business.
This is why we give the people what they want.
Sometimes.
We appreciate him calling and him getting his voicemail on. But this is why individuals should not pay attention to negative comments that are said about them on social media.
It's just not true. Your hairline looks good. I could name, you know me, I could name 1,000 things that are wrong with you.
Correct.
Easily. It would take me 45 seconds.
No question.
Hairline wouldn't even be there. Hairline wouldn't even
like waffle fries.
It just wouldn't be on there. It just wouldn't be on the list. Thanks so much for the call. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
Jalen Jacoby, this is Joey from Canton, Ohio. What's going on? I've got a question for you. Are you guys going to do an MLB preview this year? I know baseball's not your forte. I know it's not the primary sport you talk about, but you always say you give the people what they want. I'm a person. That's what I want. MLB preview. Let's do it.
I like Joey. Here's what he did, though. He did something that I do in arguments. He uses your own words against you. He's like, you say you give the people what they want. Fact.
I'm a person.
He's like, I'm a person. I want you to do an MLB preview. So you are either a liar or you're going to spend 2 hours previewing this season in Major League Baseball.
Baseball is popular amongst those in each region. It doesn't get the national carry, which is why programs like this don't consistently talk about the sport.
But it's not just that. It's not just we just follow the popularity of a sport. I think it's important as someone who's been in sports media for his entire career that you speak about the things that you have some level of expertise or knowledge about. If I'm going to sit here and break down the Stanley Cup Finals, I'm faking it to you. I'm faking it. I'm just regurgitating something I read that morning on a blog. You know, so it's like I don't do that kind of talk on wax.
Well, those are kind of things you shouldn't say on wax.
Why?
Because
the audience trusts me because I only talk about the things I know about.
Well, no, because that's 45% of our industry. Just look at it like this. You actually believe when people are talking about games that they saw them all of the time?
No.
That's
you
exactly
don't have to
what
see the
they're
game,
doing.
just don't act like you watched the game.
And so I feel like we talk about whatever's current. If something happens in baseball that gets our attention, we will acknowledge it.
Next time Rougned Odor punches somebody in the face in the base pass, we're going to discuss it. Yep. How much did public pressure have to do with the NFL saying they're going to relax excessive celebration penalties?
Public pressure, not as much as you think.
Really?
No, because they're still getting the fine money. People are still watching. I think it's more of a power play. They just don't like the optics, and they want to crack down on it.
No, but the thing is, they're saying now next year they're going to relax excessive celebrations.
Oh, yes, I agree. They have to get away from the no fun league moniker being something
I feel
that we run with.
like what they did is they all got together and they're like, yeah, this didn't really work out the way we wanted it to. Maybe we should relax this a little bit. And there was a part of it that did sort of seem like it was holding back the natural expression of the athletes' celebrations, which was holding back their public persona, which is holding back their brand, which is holding back their money. Kind of felt like that a little bit. Isaiah Thomas said, quote, "No one holds me in check," end quote.
Anybody that's ever put the ball in the basket and feels like they can consistently do it, I'll make that exact same statement. You'll make that statement.
No, I will not. I can be held in check very easily. I only have one hand that I can shoot the ball with. I'm extremely slow and I can't jump. And I have 2 moves in the post. And I really want to pass. Let's be honest. Can't hit a jump shot. Have you ever said no one can hold me in check?
Of course.
Yep. Can anyone hold you in check?
No.
Really?
6'8", dribble, pass, and shoot.
Okay.
If I get upset, right block. Left shoulder turnaround, right shoulder jump hook.
DeAndre Jordan has been sneaking a biometric device underneath his sweatband. You know, like a Fitbit bracelet or something that kind of gets your heart rate and how much you're moving and other biometric data. The league says these are illegal. What? Do you think they should be legal?
It's only illegal when they're not getting paid for it. If and when that becomes a sponsor of the NBA,
or they
then
buy
it
a company,
will be legal.
The NBA should right now probably buy one of these companies. They got the money. And then all of a sudden you've got the NBA official biometric bracelet. You know what a kid would like to wear? The NBA one, not the Apple one or the Nike one.
You remember you had to play in the NBA to get the socks? Now you can get them online?
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing in the NFL when they have a chip in the football. They're not using it for the goal line just yet, which doesn't make sense.
Anyone that plays pickup knows this. Is 10 years ago, if they had the NBA socks, you don't want to cover them. Now it's if you have like that new Nike sneaker in a weird color,
you don't want to pick them.
If you've got the newest like Team Nikes in like purple and white, you definitely didn't buy those in the store, and you definitely played on a team that had purple and white, and I definitely don't want to cover you.
Agreed. And speaking of lost tapes, Dwayne Wade, my family, they have a Carlton cam at the Bulls home games. Mm-hmm. They got him up there doing it.
2 questions. Number 1, who was talking about lost tapes?
Nas.
If you call 985-80-JALEN, you can leave us a voicemail.
Why is not Jacoby?
One of our favorite things to do. No one knows how to spell Jacoby. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
Going on, Joey and Molly? It's Jay from New Jersey. I got a question. Will y'all anticipate that the Thunder fall to the 8th seed, so you will see the Golden State Warriors have a matchup against the Oklahoma City Thunder? Thanks. I've been an everyday listener, 16-year-old boy who listens to your podcast after school. I make beef jerky. And, that's it. Thanks. Keep giving them what they want and keep giving them checks.
This is my favorite call that we've ever gotten because he said he makes beef jerky. What? He just dropped that in there. He's like, I'm a 6-year-old boy. I listen to the podcast every day. I make beef jerky. What? Keep giving the people what they want.
Don't get fired, David.
I'm not going to get fired.
Or divorced.
No, here's the thing. It's like, I think that was supposed. I think what happened is people calling in trying to change the name of the show and trying to be like a diss or whatever. You're not dissing me when you call me Joey, my wife's name. You're not dissing Jalen when you call Molly. Thank you for shouting out our significant others, our better halves, most important people to us. Appreciate it. Send me some beef jerky. Let's listen to the next voicemail.
What up, Jalen and Ginobili? A letter carrier from Huntington Beach, California, Surf City. As a Spurs fan, since I saw the Admiral drop 71 in person, my question for Jalen is, if you were the Spurs GM, what would you do with a 3-year window moving forward, considering the Warriors and Cavs' dominance of the league?
Thank you kindly. We appreciate the call. First off, he was trolling.
Yeah, but
because he's from San Antonio and he say Jalen and Ginobili.
And here's another thing is I don't like when people say keep getting them checks to us. Like, first of all, not making that much for this. You know what I mean? Like,
we were doing it for 4.5 years for free.
Yeah, like,
this wasn't even in our contract.
We're talking about Hedu Turkoglu making $2 million to play basketball. You know what I mean? We're not talking about me making rent by yapping with Jalen Rose. And then he tried to say, he called me Ginobili, which is fine. I get it. It's cute. But I feel like the changing the name of the show thing is getting a little bit like making Jalen describe plots for movies. It's really funny at first. It makes us all laugh. And then it has diminishing returns. Another thing is this, is whenever you change the name to the show, the whole control room just cracks up laughing. They're also the people that pick this. They're also the people that have the ability to edit it out.
And also, too, if I had a 3-year window, I threw a couple of things out there. They should try to get George Hill. They should try to get the shooting guard for the Clippers.
First question from Twitter. I'm going to take this one, Jalen. It's from David. Is it a crime that Rhode Island does not have any Costcos? Costco was not part of my life when I lived in the Northeast. Costco is a big part of my life now. I live out here. Kirkland all day, every day. I'm wearing Kirkland drawers right now. I only have Kirkland drawers. Kirkland undershirts, Kirkland socks, Kirkland orange juice. They have Kirkland beer. I'm even into that.
Do you know Kirkland's first name?
Kirk. Here's the thing. I heard that they were upping the membership fee to Costco. What? Very concerning. Very concerning information. I'll keep you updated on the latest Costco news here on Jalen Jacoby on ESPN Radio. Thank you for the question. Next question that we have is from Tyler. I'm guessing that Tyler lives in Sacramento. What's Buddy Hield's floor or ceiling? So give an example of if things go well, this is where Buddy Hield could end up. If things go poorly, this is where Buddy Hield could end up.
During the draft, I compared him to my high school teammate who started at Minnesota, played 10 to 15 years in the NBA, Boshan Leonard, who was a knockdown three-point shooter, actually won the contest during All-Star Weekend at one point in time. And his athleticism was underrated, but he was a knockdown shooter. You couldn't leave that guy open. Had some of his really best years when he's playing with those Heat teams. A floor for Buddy Hield, out of the league in a couple of years.
Really?
That's just the way it is.
Just out there and shining with Jimmer?
There is no guarantee for players to play multiple years in the league.
You know what I just learned is happening in China? There's a little bit of a question that has to be answered out there. Steph Marbury, everyone sort of assumed that he was going to retire this year, but he's not. So his team has to look at him and decide whether or not they're going to re-sign him. You got to keep Steph. He's got a musical. He's got a statue.
And a statue.
He's got a statue. I feel like if you put a statue outside the arena while someone's still playing in it, they're not going to play as hard.
Of course.
Like, it's like,
This is like when coaches get in the Hall of Fame while they're still on the sideline.
Yeah, it's just like, come on now.
That's what Jim Boeheim like. Am I retiring this year? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll decide.
We'll see what happens. Okay. James, I love this question. I really want to hear your answer, Jalen. I should have prepared you for this one, but we'll just see what happens. I just don't like the context. If you were on death row, what would your last meal be? Let's just change that, okay? If you could have just the ultimate plate with sides and everything, your ultimate meal, what would that be? You don't have to die immediately after eating it.
The way Prime 112 does the lobster for me, I wish I could do it for myself.
You ask them to custom. What do you ask?
No,
when you speak to the waiter, what do you say?
It's
the lobster tempura?
It's a level of breading and
the
how they
tempura
cook
lobster.
it. Yes. Oh, it's so bomb. So I would have that.
What are your sides going to be?
Spinach with onions. I got to get some sort of potato. Some sort of baked potato. Butter, sour cream.
Did you ask them to add the onions to the spinach last time we had lunch together?
I did.
That's why it was so gross. I was wondering. I was like, this is interesting. Why is there so many onions in this dish?
You ever had spinach with sauteed onions?
Do you ever just order something without modifying it? Ever in your life? Have you ever in your life just been like, I'll have the spinach?
Jacoby, I'm black.
You can't
don't
stop saying
order
that.
off
You have
the
to
menu.
stop saying that. But you can have like
Or
even the side.
we don't watch Star Wars.
Okay. Now you're just getting yourself in trouble. Now you're talking crazy.
What? Do a poll.
Alon Perez wants to know your favorite currently running television series. Mine's Game of Thrones. It's easy. That's not even a question.
Mine, Power.
Game of Thrones. I'm going to watch an episode of Power this year. You watch an episode of Game of Thrones. We'll switch.
Done deal.
And you tell me what happened on Game of Thrones, and I'll tell you what happened on Power. That'll be funny. I would love for you just to tell me what's happening on Game of Thrones. We should just film you watching one episode.
There's a street version of you on Power. Tommy.
Are you trying to say I'm not street? Are you trying to say I'm not street?
You drive a minivan.
Did you just say I'm not street?
You admitted it when you
don't
took
think
the
I'm
keys
street?
to a minivan. You
See,
say that
you-
all of the time
you've
about owning who you are.
You've obviously never been to
got
Pelham,
you.
Massachusetts. You've obviously never been to Pelham,
No,
Massachusetts.
it don't matter where you from.
Pelham, Massachusetts.
All I know is when I...
We have a street. It doesn't have any lights on it. Doesn't even have houses on it.
All
There's
I
no
know
concrete on it.
is you're the guy that pulls up at a traffic light and looks to the right, and when somebody has another minivan, you give them a head nod.
Yeah.
Okay. You've acknowledged that you're past any street bones in your body.
Jalen, I'm not going to sit here and argue about being street. That's the least street thing you can do. Try to convince someone that you're street.
Or drive a minivan.
I love my minivan. I've been killing it lately. Thinking about upgrading. This is a great question from Josh. His last name is Jacobo, by the way. We could be related. Maybe someone just made a typo somewhere in the hospital. Cousin Josh wants to know if you could. This is great. I don't even know where I don't know where Cousin Josh came up with this one. If you could he said could twice. If you could only own one kitchen appliance, what would it be? If you could only own one kitchen appliance, what would it be?
Refrigerator.
Well, let's assume that you get the refrigerator and the range and the oven. And a sink. Like, let's just assume that that's like, so when you, whatever you get when you rent the apartment, it's already in there.
Okay.
So if you could, he said could twice, own, only you don't really own those if you're renting the apartment. See what I'm saying? What would be the one kitchen appliance that you need?
Besides those that you mentioned, I'm good without anything else. That's all I need.
I suppose so. One thing I don't have in my kitchen that I really want is a toaster oven. Toaster oven it's very comes in very handy.
That's extra.
It comes in very handy.
That's extra.
I don't like to wait for the oven to warm up for like an old slice of pizza. Or if I just want to melt some cheese on a piece of bread, I don't want it to be the whole big production where I have to wait 10 minutes. No one cares about this. Let's move on.
If you've had government cheese, you get used to that wait.
Reggie,
it takes like an hour and a half for that to melt.
Guap wants to know, after 20 technical fouls committed by a player, should it be a new rule to send them to anger management? It's not a bad idea.
I like the idea.
Because anger management, it's not the, like, obviously we're talking about Boogie Cousins because he has 20 techs. It's more like, just the idea you have to go there and drive there and sit in the class and fill out the paper and like do the homework like for 6 weeks in a row. That's annoying.
They're going to make sure the coaches have a limit because now Alvin Gentry going to be getting his technicals and boogies.
Yep. I saw this topic making the rounds today on the Entertainment Sports Programming Network. So I'm going to make this a keep moving or hit the brakes topic. James wants to know, should Embiid be Rookie of the Year only playing less than half the season? Who was another candidate?
Based on the competition, you have to give it to him because...
Hit the brakes or keep it moving?
Hit the brakes.
Okay.
There's no legit second candidate. The top scorers as rookies, besides Embiid, second is Sarge.
Sarge on his team.
And then you have Brogdon with the Bucks.
Brogdon, Jamal Murray I like.
You got Murray with the Nuggets. And then you have Yogi Ferrell, who was on 2-10 days and just signed with the Mavs.
But hold on a second. Do any of them feel like Rookie of the Year?
That's what I'm saying. So Embiid's going to get it in a unique, odd Rookie of the Year race.
That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for listening on ESPN Radio, for watching on ESPN2 and ESPN News, and subscribing to the Jalen and Jacoby podcast.
You are far too kind.